I am Roselle Pineda, the PCI Artistic Curator and founder. Welcome to the third day of the PCI International Symposium 2020 Conversations on Curation and Performance in the time of halting and transformation. I was thinking of the word and concept of ASEA, which is an old Greek term to mean, and as described by a monk and theologian, John Cassian, ASEA is like a mind seized by the emotion. And ASEA is very much at the core of our sharing, a kind of being grounded to where we are as persons as well as peoples. To be mindful, forgiving, and caring of ourselves for being distracted, anxious, sometimes lost, but also to be self-reflexive of our positions, especially in relation to others, and how we participate in maintaining that fucked up world that brought us here. And so we may be able to have a hint on how to change it and how we could participate in changing the world. Today's session will be moderated by Professor Lujay Sonido from the University of the Philippines.
Hello, hello.
All right. So, of course, our presenters for today are festival curators and directors and educators and dramaturge, Myra Beltran from the Philippines and Dr. Pier Sandra Di Matteo from Italy.
Hello, everybody.
And give the spotlight now to Myra. Thank you, everybody, and welcome.
So my point of view is coming from an outsider of an institution while also co-curating one of its programs and navigating that terrain. So I'm going to talk about Wi-Fi Body, a choreographer's competition for the solo duet form, part of the Cultural Center of the Philippines CCP choreographer series, which migrated online this year on the request of the CCP as the institution's pandemic response. The decision to append two words, virtual and body, as virtual body, signified not only that the project was now online, that is addressing the platform of conveyance, but in two words, to signify that it was the body that was to be experienced virtually. Do we bend to its demands and contribute to the experience of discontinuities that already are part of the electronic space, to be constantly decentered and diffusely embodied even more, and more from a local point of view? Do we bend to those demands and compromise the safety of the space in which our artists can speak, should they wish to be more critical of the current government in their work? I think the answer lies within each of us. Virtuality cannot escape the liveness of actual bodies.
I'd like to start with general consideration on live art curatorship. In recent years, curatorial practices and performing arts have promoted new paradigms for theater. The peculiarity of this practice lies in the capability of producing context, articulating new modes of perception, promoting a collaborative discursive space, questioning form of representation, spatiality, temporality situated outside the classic definition of program making. And say that cyber performing is much more connected with a specific idea of the body and the possibility of the body to be transformed and to be also a kind of tool for political statements, for a political posture. I mean, I would like as a spectator to be touched. We were discussing a lot about the position of the artist, the performer, the dancer in filming and which kind and how, the dispositive, blah, blah, blah. But I'm wondering what's going on for the spectator in terms of be affected, in terms of be touched.
Welcome everybody to the Creatives Exchange Room. And we are honored to have here in conversation with us Lucia Nacht, a choreographer, dancer, and video maker from Buenos Aires, Argentina.
I am going to talk about the project Monuments in Motion, Construction of a Collective Memory. It's a project that I started to direct in 2017, and I am producing till today. The thing is about the people and community, and how also they maintain their memories alive and the past alive, to not let power also write their own history.
So with that, I want to thank you again for everybody for tuning in. And we'll see you tomorrow to the PCI 2020 Symposium for another round of conversations. Catch Eri Karatsu from Japan and also Lilia Mestre from Belgium tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
I think this is the closest thing to a group picture that we can have. Be ready. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Hello, everybody. How are you all? It's day 4, and welcome to the Conversations on Curation and Performance in the Time of Halting and Transformation, PCI International Symposium 2020. To start this gathering, as almost like a ritual, allow me to acknowledge once more the Darawal people, who are the traditional custodians of the land wherein I am temporarily located, which is Wollongong, New South Wales, Australia. I also acknowledge their people's elders past, present, and emerging. October is Indigenous Peoples Month in the Philippines as well, and we open each day to honor and acknowledge the many First Nations peoples who are the traditional custodians of the many lands on where we stand today. Let's continue to fight for their land rights, cultural pride, self-determination, and freedom. I am Roselle Pineda, the PCI Artistic Curator and Founder. Welcome to the 4th day again of the PCI International Symposium 2020. First off, thank you again to those who came and conversed with us yesterday. We have been discussing this in the pre-program with the presenters today, Eri and Lilia, about how powerful the statements and fiery the statements of the presenters yesterday were. And we expect no less from wave makers Myra Beltran and Pier Sandra Di Matteo. This symposium has been a fluid but impactful ride so far. We started with a strong provocation from Dr. Jones on the first day. And if you'll allow me to read some of her responses to the conversations that were provoked by her presentation. First, on the question of Ninian, I saw Ninian a while ago enter the room. She posed the question about the project of decolonialization and how this can go about when colonialism, for example, in experiences such as the Philippines, are ingrained is ingrained so much in our cultures and beings. And Amelia Jones responded in writing, and I will read. Absolutely correct question. In my opinion, I fought against the idea of decolonizing in academic discourse for several years until I lived in New Zealand for a semester and taught more about Linda Tuhiwai Smith's book, Decolonizing Methodologies. especially since she's Maori and I was immersed in that specific colonial situation. I came to understand the concept and method as impossible, per your suggestion, Ninian, but also as a polemical political necessity. Yes, the argument is produced in a book, which is Western, written in the English language, the colonizer's language, and presented in an academic format. The entire idea of a resistant discourse in the way that decolonizing is proposed is Western. But Tuhiwai Smith is asking us to think critically about all of these structures rather than just assuming we cannot do anything or we cannot imagine otherwise. It's a beginning. Envisor asks the same. He's working definitively within Western art world's format, the most extreme in their elite status, Documenta and the Venice Biennale. He's using the colonists' desire for otherness to decolonize by expanding discourse beyond the normative structures. In fact, he changed Documenta forever because now curators routinely go beyond castle to orchestrate the event across national boundaries. Most recently, Athens to comment upon the colonizing force of Northern European attitudes in relation to the third world economic systems of Greece and other southern nations in Europe. Maybe Lilia can also shed a light on that comment. I do not know very much about the specific history of the US and European domination other than the bits and pieces about the US Navy in the Pacific and the many Filipino and Filipina people living in Southern California and contributing to our culture and economy, some of whom are close friends of mine. I know the US media version of Duterte. Someday in the future, I hope I can visit and learn more. So that's a response to Nina's question. She also responded to Eileen's bringing in the discourse of soft capitalism, and she engages. And I quote from Amelia Jones, "This concept of soft capitalism is very important. Thank you for bringing that up. It points to the importance of not making deracinated, shallow claims about decolonization. The art world excels at participating in, shoring up, and in some cases, acting as gloss to cover or camouflage soft capitalism. What I love about Envisor's example is the specificity of this grand and ambitious strategy of embracing specific communities and arguments about colonialism. Soft capitalist methods would have been to bring a group of curators, artists, and intellectuals to Castle to discuss issues of colonialism in the art world. Instead, he forced the apparatus to open to elsewhere through the platforms. For this reason, I wonder if David Hammonds, working within Hauser and Wirth, is doing what his work at its best does, undermining the white supremacy of the US art world. And Crenshaw Dairy Mart also allows a way to present performative works or even performative curating that is very effective in refusing to bring brown and black bodies into institutions such as Hauser and Wirth. Rather, they propose an alternative mode of programming that aspires to decolonize, even though, per the above, this is impossible in the same sense that the very concepts of an alternative space or of art critique are Western. So I pick up on this. So that's Emilia Jones. This is me now. I pick up on these questions and responses through picking up what I thought was most important in both Myra and Pirasandra's discussion yesterday. And that is posturings, or the importance of posturings and or positioning, in the same manner that Dr. Jones also invoked a certain positioning in relation to institutions and conventional programming as a starting points from where we could begin to decolonize, move forward, or I always say become. In Pirsandra, and even for my daily prologue for each of the sessions, political posturing is paramount in order to contend with both conditions and contexts of struggles against positions of power. And this was brushed upon, for instance, on the discussion on the virtual platform and how we could use it to our advantage. And then followed by an even more important question on risk, ethics, security in relation to the virtual body. And like how the World Wide Net seems to almost automatically store and archive each and every data that we put out there, the body also archives each and every data that we are feeling, experiencing, accepting, and rejecting. This morning, my partner woke me up from a bad dream. She said it seemed like I was crying, or at least in the middle of a heated emotional conversation in my dream. The dream, at the least, at the short version of the dream, was I woke up in my dream and suddenly seeing the world in zoom or phone camera rectangular lens. Everywhere I look, I could only see what the scope of that rectangular pictorial field offers me. I could only see things from a one-point perspective. No matter how intricate the depth of field was or in the dream, it remains two-dimensional. I was afraid I've lost my peripheral vision. I've lost my vision. This was when my partner woke me up in the middle of grieving and or probably even confusion for that loss. I did not know what hit me. I just know it could spell some sort of death. It was not a pretty feeling to wake up to, but what this dream relates to me in the end is the struggle which we go through on how not to get lost in what we are trying to represent and stand for in this virtual world. Our principles, politics, conditions, our domestic conditions, vulnerable bodies, and yes, even humanity. So we may not lose them as yet, another data in the virtual world. The conversations today also will delve deep into these questions, as Eri will talk about the essentiality and almost necessity of opening dance-based Yokohama during the pandemic in Japan, and how Lilia will address you later. I will not preempt any of their presentations, so let us start the conversation today. I will introduce our panel. Today's session will be moderated by Avi Felix. Avi has been present since day one. Thank you for that, Avi. She's a curator, teacher, writer, multidisciplinary artist, and advocate of gender, culture, and environment. She is a member of the Independent Curators International, or ICI, and currently served as head curator of VMIM Contemporary Art Gallery, program director of Young Artist Studio, and an officer of the Executive Council of the National Committee on Art Galleries for the National Commission of Culture and the Arts. I cannot see you, Avi, but if you can wave, please wave. Did she wave? Okay, I'm assuming she waved. Our first speaker is Eri Karatsu. Eri Karatsu has been with us and presenting for PCI. Sorry, I cried a bit in my own introduction. Eri Karatsu has been presenting with us since its conception, first inaugural symposium in 2017. Yeah, hey, Eri. Thank you for being with us for this long. She is a senior producer at InAYTA Prefectural Art Theater and the artistic director of Dance-Based Yokohama, or DaBY, which she will talk about today. She is a curator in the Performing Arts Division for the InAYTA Triennale from 2010 to 2016 and has produced large-scale international collaborations, 2 experimental performances, and has invited over 200 performances and projects to Japan. She has been a member of the Council for Cultural Policies and the Agency for Cultural Affairs, and the coordinator of the Association of Public Theaters and Halls in Japan. As a lecturer, writer, and advisor, she works to improve the environment surrounding the field of performance arts and theaters in Japan. Her written work includes her book. I am hoping that I'm going to pronounce this right. L'intelligence du corps. I don't know French. I did not take French in college, but I'm hoping I was able to pronounce that well. Please wave, Eri, again.
Hi.
All right. And then I'm going to introduce the second speaker, Lilia Mestre, a performing artist and researcher from Lisbon, but is currently based in Brussels, Belgium, working mainly in collaboration with other artists. Lilia works with assemblages. We talked about assemblage on our first day. Scores, intersubjective setups, and other chance-induced processes as an artist, curator, dramaturge, and co-learner. She was a co-founder of Baines, I'm hoping I pronounced that right again, Baines Connective Art Laboratory in Brussels in 1997, an artist-run pluridisciplinary working place for experimental practices where she took the role of project dramaturge in 2006 and artistic curator between 2009 and 2016. She is currently the artistic coordinator and co-curator of APAS, Advanced Performance Scenography Studies in Belgium, which hopefully next year I'll be a part of as a research fellow. Lilia, it's an honor to have you present with PCI for the first time. So let's all welcome Eri and Lilia to this conversation. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to turn it over to Eri Karatsu for her presentation.
いいのかな、初めて。はい。はい。いい
You
の
cannot stop sharing my screen. Okay, I can do this.
クリアラはい。
There is no day without technical glitches. Am my screen gone already, or am I gone already? Not yet. I have to stop it.
You have to stop sharing.
I think.
では
There you go. I have stopped sharing my screen. All right.
Okay.
Take it away, Eri.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm Eri Karatsu, producer of Aichi Prefecture Theater, and I recently started working as an artistic director of Dance Base Yokohama. Dance Base Yokohama opened this year as a new center for performing arts in Japan. We call this place DaBY for short. Let me show you how DaBY looks like. DaBY is a dance house that designed and organized projects that aim to improve the Japanese professional dance environment and support emerging creatives. We were financed by a corporation, not by a public fund. We were planning to open this past April. Unfortunately, Japan declared emergency state at the beginning of April, so we will not be able to come together to prepare for our opening. In this presentation, I will talk about our initial concept and our plan as a dance house. Next, I move on to talk about how that was changed, how we adjusted our curation, how we took off for a new start, and where we are heading towards. First and foremost, the reason why I wanted to create the dance house is because there's very few professional dance companies in Japan. Unfortunately, there is little funding in the art from the government, little space to create or present work, and only a small pool of audiences interested in dance. With this context, I pictured three goals when creating a new space for dance in Japan. Firstly, I wanted to employ younger people. Nowadays, the Japanese performing arts scene is shrinking because there are very little opportunities. Therefore, I wanted to create a space that brings work, growth, connects, and dreams to young people, especially to young women who want to work in the dance world. Secondly, I wanted to populate the dance field with interdisciplinary creatives. Dance is an interdisciplinary art form where you often collaborate with artists from different fields. I wanted to welcome interdisciplinary artists and even marketing specialists to the mix and create a casual and professional platform filled with conversations among dance lovers, interdisciplinary creatives, as well as dancers, choreographers, and creative staff members. Thirdly, I aim to expand the audience in dance. This is essential in creating a professional dance environment. In Japan, dance performances are not easily accessible. Only particular dance fans go to the theaters regularly. Hence, I wanted to create an open space where wider groups of dance audiences can look at and enjoy dance from various angles. At the theaters, there is only a one-sided relationship where the audience watches a production. But I wanted people to experience what happens in the making of a production. By expanding the audience, we can expand the number of productions and ultimately secure a space for dance specialists and artists to work professionally. I will now move on to introduce three main positions we have created to help realize our mission. We have invited specialists all with artist backgrounds to engage fluidity and creativity even in the operation. As an artistic director, I create the concept, curate the program, and express the direction we are heading towards. Kenta Kojiri, the first Japanese male dancer to join Netherlands Dance Theatre 1, takes on this new position called Dance Evangelist. His work is to connect people from different fields with the world of dance. Emerging choreographer Ryu Suzuki is currently working on the new piece as an associate choreographer. His work invites young interdisciplinary artists in the collaboration process to propose what dance can do. In order to realize the three goals I have stated earlier, we created four key concepts: create, nurture, gather, and connect. Before I explain the details, I will give you an overview. First, we hope to offer a space where professional artists can create dance works. Second, we aim to nurture dance specialists through hosting seminars and workshops. Third, we gather audience members by hosting programs for the public. And last, we connect theaters and artists in and outside of Japan. Now I will go through each concept one by one. First, we host residencies. There are very few places in Japan where artists can reserve dance studios to work on long-term creations. But here at DaBY, we actively host long-term creative projects. We also open up the process to the public. We hope that the artists can develop work through these feedback and conversations. Second is nature. We curate programs called Pro Labo for professional dance artists. In Japan, there are many dance studios such as ballet, street dance, modern ballet, and flamenco. However, it's difficult to draw the line between being a professional and being an amateur. So we want to encourage a professional dance culture. We provide seminars and classes for professional dancers to equip themselves with skills and knowledge. For example, we provide legal seminars led by our lawyers to discuss topics such as contracts and other legal issues. The next concept is Gather. We aim to be a platform to facilitate interactions between various artists, creators, and technicians. At DaBY, we created a dance archive for residents and dance lovers to casually drop by. We also make the creative process public by showing rehearsals and hosting tryout performances. Our last concept is Connect. In Japan, there are very few theaters or venues that are dedicated to dance. We hope to be a hub that collects information and shares them with theaters, dance houses, and companies in and outside of Japan. By collaborating with different spaces around Yokohama, as well as with theaters and festivals around the world, we hope to create an inspiring cycle. We hope this cycle will lead to repeated performances and job opportunities. This is how we aim to contribute to society through dance. I have been presenting our initial concept of the space. Now I move on to talk about how we were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. We have been preparing to open our venue at the end of April. However, we had to postpone our grand opening in April, cancel most of the performances in May, and adjust all the residencies of artists from abroad, having no choice but to change all of our initial plans. We immediately discussed amongst us about what we could do amidst COVID-19 and what we should do at the Center for Dance. We needed to reverse the idea that performing arts required a shared time and space. This was our thought process. We can secure enough time even if we can't gather together. We don't know when you can present work. This allows you to continue creating work without having a deadline. We created a new curatorial strategy where we deconstruct and dismantle what we were planning to do in order to reconstruct and recreate a new curation. The power of imagination became a key word. The internet being able to teleport something from one to another across time and space overlapped with how dance allows imagination to go beyond time and space. Taking these curatorial strategies, there are the changes I made in the program. First, we decided to rent the space for the two artists who were affected by the COVID-19 outbreak. For the 4 available spots, we made an open call. there were 17 groups that applied, so we tried to accommodate everyone in the schedule. Due to COVID, many public cultural centers were closed, and people couldn't travel far. Many artists, unfortunately, had to stop their creative activities. I believe we were able to support them by providing space and time for them to check in with their bodies. There were people who filmed dance video by themselves using the space, which has already been presented. Second, we donated 2 million yen we were planning on using for the opening to artists who canceled their performances during March and April due to COVID. Among these artists who also use our studio space told us that the space was inspiring or time flew by so quick. I felt confidence that DaBY took off to a new start. Thirdly, we worked hard to increase our online presence. We did not know when we could open the venue, so we decided to do a virtual opening at the beginning of June. We opened our YouTube channel called DaBY Channel, where we hosted talk event with dance artists. We also made a dance video called Happy Birthday DaBY to celebrate DaBY's opening. Let's take a brief look. We made 4 videos in total, and more than 100 dancers joined this project. Furthermore, we use our online platform to live stream most of our events. At the end of June, we decided to host our actual opening. We started to host events at our venue and on our online platform, all while being careful about COVID. I will go into details about our initiatives. We started hosting DaBY Talk Live on our Instagram for younger people to casually listen to conversations between dance artists. We asked the dancers to share anything from their everyday business to COVID-related discussions. The maximum of 500 listeners with more than 1,500 Instagram followers. I was happily surprised considering how it was a new attempt. We canceled our opening event, Trial Dance Days, which we planned last May. You can see the brochures here. The initial plan was to host 2 programs by Japanese artists and to invite 2 artists from abroad. Of course, we completely canceled the performances by the artists from abroad. As for the 2 programs by the Japanese artists, we had a long discussion with the artists about what to do. One, we decided to change the format from the old performance to an exhibition. Another, we postponed the performance while continuing the creation process. First, I will talk about Kota Yamazaki's program, Dance Teleportation. We both agreed to continue the project to show solidarity with artists in these difficult times. Kota Yamazaki, who is based in the United States, is one of the leading dancers in Japan. He has taken on different dance vocabularies, from Buto to classical ballet. As part of our grand opening event with the theme Choreographing City, he was planning to create a site-specific performance body amusement park Yokohama with a group of dancers he had auditioned. Unfortunately, because of COVID, Yamazaki could not come to Japan, so we discussed how to continue this project. As a starting point, Yamazaki did a series of interviews with the dancers. From there, he created a piece of text filled with unique images and textures, which has given to the dancers. The dancers then responded with their bodies using various artistic mediums such as videos, photos, and sounds. The process was exciting. We changed our programming and decided to present the series of exchanges between Yamazaki and the dancers in the exhibition. Seeing how the exchanges happened online, beyond time and space, we named the exhibition Dance Teleportation, Choreography Beyond Time and Space, Floating Worlds and Bodies. We planned, conceptualized, and executed the exhibition in 2 weeks. But I believe it was a success. The exhibition extended beyond the box of DaBY to different spaces in our building complex. We also hosted 3 installation performances where dancers performed either solo or with distance at the exhibition. There was another program planned for the grand opening, Try and Dance Project, that we postponed the next year. There was a brushes. This project started off with 3 internationally acclaimed female dancers, all from Yokohama, the city where DaBY is located. We wanted them to share their experiences, some similar and some different in dance. There are many male directors and choreographers in the world, and there are very little opportunities for women to manage or direct institutions and theaters. To symbolize my hope for women and younger people to flourish in these male-dominant spaces, just like how I want appointed as an artistic director as a woman. We wanted to focus on these 3 female dance artists for the opening of the venue. During the conversation I had with each of them last year summer, I realized that all 3 of them have had strong influences from particular male choreographers. For Yoke Ando, it was William Forsythe. For Megumi Nakamura, it was Eri Karatsu. And for Hana Sakai, it was Michael Hawking. With this in mind, I curated a 2-piece program. The first section was called The Origin of Choreography, where the 3 dancers performed the piece of work by their most influenced choreographer. The second section was called Development and Reconstruction of Choreography, where they performed a diverse piece inspired by the original work. I called the program the Genealogy of Dance. There is a hidden intention behind this program. The first section featured the female dancers and their source of inspiration, all who were legendary male choreographers in the Western dance tradition. The second section aimed to subvert that male to female choreographer to dancers, power dynamic and showcase the female dance artist journey in finding their own creative voice. Before we present these 6 pieces next year, we decided to consider this year as an intermission and host event to share mid-process conversations with the public. For example, we hosted an event called Triad Intermission Mid-Process Talk of the Solo Deconstructing the Dying Swan. For this project, we performed 2 pieces, Mihail Hawking and Anna Pavlova's Dying Swan, and a new deconstructed version of the origin piece that speaks about contemporary environment problems. Directed and choreographed by Toshiki Okada, a playwright and founder of the theater company Shellfish. In this event, we talked and demonstrated how we conducted 11 online rehearsals over Zoom to create this piece without even meeting up. After many twists and turns, we were finally presenting this piece at Aichi Art Prefecture Art Theater, where I worked as the producer in October 2021. I will now move on to talk about some of the events we hosted this past summer. We hosted the tryout performance and an open brainstorming session of DaBY's first residence choreographer Shintaro Hirahara's new work. We conducted this event both at DaBY and via online. As part of our archiving initiative, we edit and document the video for more people to watch later after the live streaming. Furthermore, we host programs specifically for professional dancers. Kenta Kojiri conduct dance class for professionals and host closed research improving professional artists from different fields. Aside from Kenta, sound artists and computational designers who were interested in dance have joined in this research. We also conducted a special summer workshop for children who were local residents from Yokohama. Last but not least, we organized DaBY Collective Dance Project, led by DaBY's associate choreographer Ryu Suzuki. He collected a group of young and interdisciplinary creatives. The team includes musicians in their early 20s, architects, and as well as specialists from other fields who have never been exposed to dance practices. We aim to encourage unique collaboration to expand the potential of dance. He has been conducting research at DaBY surrounding the theme of evil in response to the COVID crisis for over 6 months. When things were getting excited, COVID-19 hit, canceling our performance plans. The creative team decided to reconsider what their creative output could look like. They started to present bits and pieces of their work online, which they call fragments, and share their creative process with the public. They also experimented with their live stream format. For the tryout performance, they used the multi-frame feature on Zoom. And they had the videographer live stream his point of view as part of the dance performance. The tryout performance ended with a feedback session right after. Based on the discussion, then, we are planning to host another tryout performance in November 4th. If you are interested, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. This is the schedule for the two projects I mentioned earlier, DaBY Collective Dance Project and the Triad Dance Project. After this presentation, I will talk more in detail about them. Before I move on to my final remarks, I would like to share quick news about DaBY. Just recently, DaBY received the Good Design Award 2020. I believe this award came from the judges' hope that we will play a unique role as a cultural center. They valued our diverse but solid dedication to making this place a space filled with international exchanges, interdisciplinary collaborations, opportunities for younger creators, and community engagement. Our commitment was in turn with the special design of the box-in-box structure of the studio. Lastly, I want to share my hope in moving towards the performing arts world in Japan is rather outdated. Taking advantage of the time I have now, I want to conduct experiments to inspire small revolutions to bring change to the performing arts. Facing this moment where I had to cancel these many performances, I finally realized that I might have been focusing on performing pieces at the theaters too much. I'm sure people thought there will be no job for dancers and choreographers if there were no performances. But in this period of halting, there were many creators who shared their rehearsals or creations on social media. While this allows creators to create something without temporal and spatial restriction, this also allowed people to access contemporary dance with ease. For us, I think this gave us an incentive to think about the creative process, not just the performance outcome, and provide opportunities for people to access dance beyond temporal and spatial restrictions, almost like a trip to teleportation. While I stress the possibility of the connecting with people virtually across time and space, it is important to have a solid ground, a space where the people can get together, share our concerns and ideas, and ultimately take some kind of action together. I want DaBY to be just a bare space, but to be a fluid entity where people support and work with each other to continuously raise questions and proposals to the performing art world in Japan. That's all for my presentation. Thank you so much.
So we turn over immediately to Lilia.
Wow. Hello, everybody. Nice to see all of you. Right. So I'll take a picture. Again, I say you give us your biggest and happiest and sweetest smile. For first picture, ready? Smile. Okay. Remain smiling, please, for the next page. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Smile. All right. So right now we are going to our breakout rooms, and today we have 2 rooms for our presenters, one for Eri and one for Lilia. And then we have a the PCI network room. You will be joining me there. You will see me in that room. And in our our showcase today is by Sipa. Is Boyet here already? Can you speak, Boyet?
Yes, ma'am. Nandito po. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yay, yay. So Boyet will be showcasing his work in another room, in the showcase room. And in our listening room, we have recorded music and music conversations with Dr. Jonas Baes. So again, I ask for your patience because yes.
Angel, please
Yes.
be remind lang that the Jonas Baes conversation is in Filipino.
Oh yeah. Yes, the
So for
Jonas Baes room or the listening room is in Filipino. Yeah. So anyway, again, we ask for your patience. If you wish to be in any of those rooms, please just message Karina. Please wave your hand, Karina, please. Yes, so she will direct you. Message her directly in our Zoom chat so she can direct you to the rooms that you choose. So I ask for your patience again that this may take time. It will take time for us to be transferred in each of these rooms because Karina is the only one doing it for all of us. So thank you again, and we'll see everybody again tomorrow, and we look to listen to Mr. Pascal Berry and Dr. Brogan Bond tomorrow in our 5th day of the symposium. So thank you very much. Maraming salamat. Good evening. Good night from the Philippines. I think good morning, good afternoon in other parts of the world. So thank you and see you tomorrow. Take it away, Karina.
So this is the listening room. So you're going to be hearing a recording of, and this is going also live stream. So you're going to be hearing a conversation which I recorded with Dr. Jonas Baes and one of his pieces. So it's gonna run for 50 minutes. So I'm gonna play it now. Ayan po. Is it recording?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Game.
Isang magandang araw sa ating lahat. Ako po si Roselle Pineda. Ang ating panunging pangdangal ngayong araw, nakakapanayamin natin ay si Professor Jonas Baes ng University of the Philippines, so Universidad ng Pilipinas sa Diliman, College of Music o Kolehiyo ng Musika. At magkukwento sa atin ng isang kakaibang karanasan niya sa kolaborasyon at katuwang sa paggawa ng musika ang mga katutubong dumagat at remontado ng Rizal.
Kamusta?
Jonas, kayo na po ang magpakilala siguro sa inyong sarili, no?
Okay. Ako si
Pilipino
Jonas
lang
Baes.
Po.
Ako si Jonas Baes na sabi nga ni Roselle, Kolehiyo ng Musika sa Pamantasan ng Pilipinas. Ako'y isang kompositor at isang ethnomusikologo o isang taong nag-aaral ng kung ano yung saysay ng musika sa pang-araw-araw na buhay ng mga tao. So isang pangunahing eksperyensya dito ay yung nabanggit ni Roselle na yung sa mga dumagat at remontado sa Rizal noong 2003.
Opo. Maganda pong nabanggit nyo yung pagiging ethnomusicologist o isang researcher or mananaliksik, no? Kasi po sa Dumagat na kinakatuwang namin ngayon para sa Dumagat Day Festival, isa po sa nagiging tutok din namin ang pananaliksik sa mga kultura, tradisyon, lalo na yung nakalimutan na. Nabasa ko po yung isa yung papel na sinulat at sinabi nga doon na talagang mga researchers na tagalabas, ang isa sa mga kinakaharap ay yung pagpapanumbalik ng mismong interes ng mga Dumagat mismo o katutubo sa kanilang sariling kultura. Maaari niyo po bang salaysay ang inyong naging karanasan dito?
Oo. Well, medyo unique yung experience ko sa mga Dumagat. Kasi nung na-enkwentro ko sila nung 2003, ako'y nagpunta doon sa Internal Refugee Center, na kung tawagin ng Kanlungan, para bisitahin yung mga Irayamangyan. Nabalitaan ko kasi na yung mga Irayamangyan ng Kaagutayan, kung saan ako nanaliksik ng maraming taon, noong 1980s, mula 82 hanggang 87. No? Pabalik-balik ako doon, kilala ko yung mga tao. Kung saan ako nanaliksik, ay nabalitaan ko lumikas yung buong komunidad dahil sa problema ng militarisasyon. Ito yung panahon ni Palparan eh. At nagpunta ako doon sa Kanlungan, doon sa refugee center sa Cavite. Kung nalaman ko ito sa mga kaibigan kong nasa mga simbahan, mga church worker, no, na nagbalita sa akin, para kamustahin yung mga kakilala ko. And marami sa kanila, mga nakita ko doon, ay nakilala ko nung bata pa. So napakaganda ng eksperyensya kasi nagkakilala ng ulit kami. Ang tawag nila sa akin noong araw sa Mindoro, si taga Maynila. Kasi hindi ako taga-Ilog hindi ako Tagalog. Kasi noong una hindi ako naninigarilyo ng champion, ang sigarilyo ng Malboro. Taga Maynila yan.
Ako po unat ang tawag sa akin.
Okay. Basta ang tawag sa akin si taga Maynila. At napakaganda ng eksperyensya namin. Well, sasabihin ko na rin to kasi may kinalaman din sa aking ikikwento tungkol sa mga Dumagat. Noong panahon na yon ay kapapublish lang ng isang CD collection ng musika ng Irayamangyan ng NCCA na ginawa ko. Ginawa ko yon. Hindi ako masyadong excited na gawin yun kasi parang iniisip ko, para saan ito? I mean, ako ba ay nag-exploit ng mga musika ng mga Irayamangyan? Hindi ko na foresee na mangyayari ay makakaengkwentro ko sila doon sa sitwasyon na yon. Kaya dali-dali ako ay binigyan ko sila ng isa't kalahating libo, 1,500 copies. Noong aking CD, binigay ko sa kanila at sila ay nagkatuwaan kami. Buong maghapon o isang buong araw yata na pinatugtog namin yung CD at labas lahat ng kwento. Si ganyan. At nagkaroon pa kami ng parang seremonya kung saan nagpasalamat sila sa pagbibigay ko ng CD sa kanila. At napakaganda nung naging response, reception ng mga tao. Sabi sa akin ng isang matandang Irayamangyan, ito naalala ko exactly yung sinabi niya. Sabi sa akin, maraming salamat sa pag-alaga at pagsauli sa amin ng igway. Yung igway, yung awit. And sabi ko, ito ang dapat ginagawa ng mga ethnomusicologo, sinusuoli.
Ang ganda ng pagsuoli.
At ang pagkakataon na yon, yung mga batang hindi na alam kung ano yung mga awiting niya, igway, marayaw, bulaklakan, yung mga instrumento nila, yung bangsi, yung patangis buhaya, lahat yon, yung mga tugtugin sa flauta, tugtugin sa subing, sa jawsar, nalaman nila. At yung mga matatanda, nagkaroon ng venue para magkwento. Napakaganda ng impact. At sila nagkakwentuhan. Ngayon, nung naandun ako sa kanlungan, nagulat ako nung nakita ko isang matalik kong kaibigan nung sa Los Baños na si Sergio. Si Sergio, nandun pala para dun sa mga dumagat. So pinakilala niya ako sa madaling salita sa mga dumagat. At eto si Nanay Adeling. Ngayon, yung side story dyan, itong si Nanay Adeling ay iba ang sitwasyon ng konti. Sila ay nakatira sa Rizal. At yung asawa ni Nanay Adeling ay tribal leader. Yung tribal leader na yan ay noong 2002 ay pinaslang ng mga paramilitary at sinabi nilang communist guerrilla. Binuksan yung bag, walang laman yung bag kundi pandesal, isang dyaryo, at saka mga kung ano ng mga bagay-bagay para doon sa kanilang pamilya. Itong asawa ni Nanay Adeling, lumalaban siya para doon sa, I think, yung issue ng dam. In other words, pinakilala sa akin si Nanay Adeling. Tapos naalala ko pa yung sinabi ni Sergio, siya ho ay nananaliksik ng musika. Tapos ang sabi ng matanda sa akin, sa kanya, ano pang sasaliksikin niya sa amin wala kaming musika. Kaya sabi ko, hindi ho ako naandito para sa musika. Kinakamusta ko yung mga kaibigan kong mangyan. At saka gusto ko rin makamustahin kayo, kamusta kayo. So, in other words, nagkaroon na ng parang opening at nag-open up sa akin yung matanda, nagkwento, lahat ng kwento. At one point, ito ang pinaka parang tumurok sa puso ko. At one point, nung nagkikwento siya, tumigil siya at tumangis, umiyak ng umiyak. So sabi ko, natigilan din ako at nakatingin ako sa kanya, pinatay ko yung tape recorder. Umiyak siya ng umiyak. And afterwards, nung mahulasan siya, kinwento niya sa akin, paano na ngayon yung buhay nila? Yung kanyang anak nasa order or battle, etc. Napakasaklap na kwento. Side story doon, tinutulungan na nila seryo yung mga bata, gumagawa sila ng play para maipaalala sa kanila yung kanilang pagiging dumagat. So, yung unang implement na alala ko na ginagawa nila, yung tinatawag nilang talikod mundo, yung lean-to, para siyang gawa siya sa palapa ng nyog, pagkatapos ay parang shade pag nagpapahinga, kapag ka nagtatrabaho, pahingahan, ano? And naging napakahalagang implement yun. Pagkatapos at one point, so yung lean-to, yung mga kasamahan ni Sergio, parang CAP sila hindi ko matandaan nagpakita daw ng mga larawan, ng mga bagay-bagay, mga kung ano-anong mga damit, mga pictures ng mga anthropologists, mga research nila Benagen, yung mga unang nagre-research dyan. And lumabas din daw yung mga stories. So sabi ko, ganyan din yung nangyari dun sa Iraya Mangyan. Binigay ko yung mga CDs, lumabas yung mga stories. So sabi ko, napakahalaga niyan para sa atin bilang mga nag-engage sa kanila. Hindi tayo naandito para kunin ang kanilang datos, kunin yung kanila, kundi mag-engage tayo in the sense na tulungan natin ang sarili natin at tulungan nila yung sarili nila para maunawaan ang kanilang mundo, ang kanilang kalagayan, lalo na yung mga bata. So at that point, buhay pa si Jose Maceda noon, umuwi ako ng Quezon City. Parang research ang kasamaan palad, kagaya mo nag-dissertation, gusto ko isama yon, yung aspeto na yon ng mga so-called katutubo. Sabi ng aking panel yata, ay wag, hindi kasama sa research. Anyway,
Nako,
ibang storya yun.
ibang storya po yan.
Pero critical ako sa akademiko dahil diyan. Anyway, sa akademya. So si Jose Maceda na napaka-close kong lolo, kinuwento ko sa kanya nangyari. Bahagya niya ako naintindihan. Kasi alam mo, classical ethnomusicologist si Jose Maceda. So, research, aral, analyze. Sabi ko, iba ho yung function. Gusto ko lang hong makarinig sila ng musika nila. Baka meron ho kayong recordings dun sa area. Naalala ko pa yung area eh. So, hindi siya kumikibo. Sabi niya, bigyan mo ako ng konting panahon para pag-isipan kasi hindi ko gusto yan. At hindi ko gusto yung ganyan. So, sa kanya, academic research, ganyan. Aralin mo yung structure, etc. So, sabi ko, okay. Wala akong magagawa. Yung recordings mo yan. Tapos, after a day or two yata, pagkatapos ng isa o dalawang araw, tumawag, alas 8 ng umaga, tumawag sa bahay. Sabi niya, Jonas, napag-isipan ko na yung hinihiling mo eh. Hindi ko maalala ko yung hinihiling ko. Sabi niya, o sige, magkita tayo dun sa center, sa ilagay mo na lang sa cassette yung ilang reel recording doon. Paano natin, pakopya natin. Pero ipangako mo sa akin, isosoli mo sa akin yan. Hindi mo gagamitin. Bibigay mo sa akin yung cassette ulit, ibabalik mo. O sige po, wala pong problema. Hindi ko gagamitin yung data nyo. Paparinig ko lang dun sa loob-loob ko, sa mga pinagkuhanan.
Tutubo, isa sa uli.
So, yun, nagawa ko. The same, may kwento, hindi nila maalala yung ibang songs. At yung iba, hindi na nila, isang pamilya lang kasi yung dumagat si Nanay Edidling, who was remontado. And yung mga bata, hindi naging ganun yung impact masyado. Although the idea was there. So, ayun, yun ang aking enkwentro kay Nanay Edeling at yung kinahaba-haba ng kwento niya na ni-record ko, tinanscribe ko at ginawa kong isang sulatin para maipakita ang isang pananaw na critical, unang-una sa tanong ng research, ng pananaliksik, at ng akademya sa pamumuhay ng mga taong sinasaliksik nila. Yun ang gusto kong i-address.
Ipipick up ko yun, sir, yung responsibility ng isang mananaliksik, no? Kasi isa rin sa, and artist also, na pumupunta sa mga communities para magkaroon ng community engagement, ganyan. Tapos and the next thing you know, ay nasa exhibition na yung mga nakuha nila. So magandang pag-usapan din po siguro kung paano ba natin tinitingnan yung etika. Sa akin kasi ethics yun eh. Etika ng isang mananaliksik at isang artista o cultural worker, kahit na cultural worker na pumupunta sa mga komunidad na vulnerable katulad ng mga katutubo at nagkakaroon ng hindi magandang impact sa mga katutubo. Sabi nga ng isang Maori na scholar, nagiging marumi. Nagiging na si Linda Tuhi Smith, nagiging marumi para sa mga katutubo ang salitang pananaliksik at ang salitang art. So paano natin yun na nare-resolve bilang mga mananaliksik? Kaya ano yung sense of responsibility natin or responsibilidad natin? Maganda po yung sinabing sa uli, pero baka maaring i-expound o paliwigin pa ng kaunti.
Yung notion ng sa uli, doon sa konteksto na sinabi nung matandang mangyan sa akin, ay literal na pagsauli. Parang ang feeling ko doon ay parang pinaalagaan sa akin yung mga igway sa isang recording. Si Mamay Angel kasi yung primary na source ko doon at kilala nila si Mamay Angel. Namatay na siya noong 1988. Anyway, parang ang feeling na pinaalagaan sa akin at isinuuli ko sa kanila. Sa akin, binigay ko na sa kanila yon. So yun yung pagsuoli, material na bagay, object, na isinuoli, material, tangible, nahahawakan mong bagay na sinuoli. Kasi ang awitin, hindi mo naman maisasoli. So sa formang yon. Yun ang isang, siguro, na hindi ko naman pinlano, no? Yun ang isang natutunan kong paraan ng pagsole na ang aking eksperyensya lang ang nagturo sa akin. Nung unang mga 2 years o 2 o 3 taon bago diyan, nasa Sydney ako, diyan sa Australia. At ako'y ako'y pangunahing speaker sa isang forum kung tawagin ay trajectories tungkol sa impact ng research sa mga tao na nani-research. And ang aking papel ay critical tungkol sa ethnomusicology. Ang isa sa mga pangunahing magsasalita din noon na nakasabay ko ay isang ethnomusicologong Amerikano na nangangalang Stephen Feld. Si Stephen Feld naging parang ano ko yan parang idolo ko yung analytic niya nung 1980s na ako'y nag-aaral analytic methods. At sinabi niya sa akin yung tungkol sa nagre-research siya sa mga Busavi sa Papua New Guinea. And doon sa kanya ko narinig yung idea ng pagsusuoli, pero hindi katulad nung naging impact sa akin yung pagsusuoli. Sabi niya ang recordings daw parang lupa, dapat isinusoli. So nag-stick sa isip ko 'yon. Nung siya pa ang nag-convince sa akin na i-refurbish ko yung cassette recordings ko at gawin kong CD at para ma-preserve din. At yon ang parang culmination ng aking critical na pananaw sa aking larangan na kung tawagin na ethnomusicology. Bilang kompositor, iba pang usapin yun.
Yun nga po Ipipihit ko na doon para mapag-usapan na natin yung piyesa. Pumunta na tayo sa inyong piyesa na InAYTA. O tama ba ang pagkatabi?
InAYTA, oo. Galing yan sa, ginawa ko lang yung salitang yan. Yan ay galing sa pinatay. Na tumutukoy yan dun sa nangyari kay Nanay Adeling. Ang gawain ng mga kompositor, maraming mga kompositor, well, hindi lahat, marami, no? Hindi nabibilang dun yung aking guro na si Jose Maceda. Pero marami kukuha ng melodiya, kung ano, ritmo, sa mga katutubo, gagamitin sa komposisyon nila. Matagal akong naging critical sa ganon kasi ang tingin ko doon, parang mo rin kinukuha yung lupa ng mga tao at pinakikinabangan mo, di ba? So, hindi ko ginagawa yon. Ang ginagawa ko lagi ay kinukuha ko yung kaisipan ng musika at siya ang ginagamit ko para naman magkaroon ng ibang pananaw yung composition ko. Hindi kinuha yung musika, kundi yung konsepto na sabihin na natin yung pagtangis, pag-iyak ay isang paraan ng ekspresyon sa musika. So, merong ganoon. At yung pagtangis na yon, hindi lang natutukoy sa irayamang yan, maaring tumukoy sa iba pang mga katutubo sa buong mundo na napapailalim dun sa ganoong klaseng sitwasyon. Inaagawan ng lupa, minimina, pinapaalis. Maraming mga katao sa Southeast Asia na lang, sa Kalimantan, sa Vietnam, mga taong nanirahan sa mga forest, sa mga gubat at sinisira. Mula nung una pa, gano'n na yung ginagawa ko. Maaaring gumagamit ng instrumento, ng katutubo, pero hindi para kunin yung musika, kundi para i-extend para palawakin yung ekspresyon ng kinalalagyan ng mga tao. So lahat ng iyon ay parang mga naratibo ng mga katutubo, ng mga tao na nabubuhay at yung pamaraan ng pag-perform, ng pagsasagawa ng musika ay inilalagay ko pilit kong inilalagay yung nakikinig dun sa eksperyensya ko, dun sa mga tao. So yung InAYTA, parang ganon. Yung pagtangis ni Nanay Adeling na naging napaka-powerful, parang minagnify ko kung saan ginawa kong isang siklo, no, ng pagtangis ng umiiyak na Nanay Adeling at umiiyak na gubat. So kung pakikinggan mo yung InAYTA, tatlong tunog. Yung unang napakalaking tunog ng napakalaking metal na tam-tam, kung tawagin. Malaking gong yun. Pagkatapos, pagtangis ng isang babae. Pagkatapos, magfe-fade yun, papunta dun sa pagtangis naman ng gubat. So may mga tunog ng gubat, mga perkusyon, mga kung ano ng instrumento. Nakakatutubo. Pagkatapos, paulit-ulit yung siklo na yon, pero patindi na ng patindi yung pagtangis. Ang pagsasagawa ng piyesang yon, hindi yon tutugtugin sa isang konsyerto. Ilulup yon. Yun na isang recording. Kung tawagin ko, parang sound installation ba? Na nung kinomission niya ng Asian Public Intellectuals noong 2010. At ang pamaraan ng pagsasagawa niyan is patutugtugin ng paulit-ulit, naka-loop yung recording niyan sa isang CD, sa isang napakalaking speaker, sa basement ng Vargas Museum, at tuloy-tuloy yung tunog hanggang gabi, hanggang umaga. Pero hindi na nila ginawa hanggang gabi kasi natatakot sila sa tunog. Mga nakakailang araw na tuloy-tuloy yung tunog, nanggagaling sa basement. Can you imagine? Natatakot yung mga empleyado sa pero yun ang so yun ang napaka-unsettling, no? Yun ang konsepto ng musika.
Hindi naman po kasi humihina ang naratibo ng pandarahas sa mga komunidad na ito.
Hindi.
Bakit
eksakto.
natin?
Yun ang punto de vistang gusto kong ilahad dun sa composition na yon. Ano man yung tumatangis na yon, napakatindi. Ganon. At hindi siya tumitigil. Kasi dapat iturok sa kamalayan ng mga
unsettling
nakikinig
siya
na
because it's happening. Nangyayari
nangyayari. So, ganon ang komposisyon. Ilang beses kong ginawa yan. Ginawa ko yan sa Germany. In-install namin sa Germany, sa Lübeck. At tinopak meron doon sa isang building, bawat building doon sa Germany, merong tawagan Hausmeisterin. Ano yun siya yung parang chief building manager. At nung ginawa namin yan, natawa ako kasi nagulat siya, nagsisigaw siya doon sa lobby, at nagulat ang lahat ng tao in German. Nagsisigaw siya, anong klase yung musika yan? Ano ba yan? Ang ginagawa nyo? Tinopak siya, and sabi ko doon sa sabi ng mga estudyante sa akin, parang nasira yung composition mo. Sabi ko, hindi. Yan yung performance, sabi ko. Ginawa ulit yan, sa Vargas Museum. Ginawa ulit yan noong 2015. Can you believe, ini-sponsor ng Shinkansen yung performance sa train station. At yun, maraming kwento, maraming kung ano nangyayari. So napaka protruding, napaka-unsettling, napaka-disturbing na piyesa na hindi mo kailangan pakinggan, hindi mo kailangan pansinin, pero mapapansin at mapapansin mo. Yun ang intention nun. At yun ang sa ganun ko gustong madala yung atensyon sa sitwasyon ng mga katutubo dito sa Pilipinas at sa maraming bahagi ng Asia at Latin America.
At dahil dyan sa pagsasalarawan ni Sir Jonas, ay papakinggan na natin ngayon muna ang InAYTA bago natin pag-usapan ang mga detalye nito. Sir Jonas, medyo kakaiba talaga. Gaya ng pagsasalarawan nyo, kakaiba po talaga. Kumbaga sa isang mas common na tenga para sa musika ay matatanong, musika po ba ito? So siguro magandang umpisahan natin yung usapin sa reception o pagtanggap ng composition sa pamamagitan ng ano nga ba natin ito ikinakategorya bilang isang musika? No, alam natin na marami ng conceptual.
Na tanong kasi napakahirap ng tanong kasi ako rin hindi ko rin alam kung paano makakategorya. Hindi ko kinakategorya pero ako'y kompositor at yung InAYTA na yan ay pumailalim sa proseso ng paglikha ng musika. So may merong development, merong etc. May drama kumbaga kaya para sa akin musika 'yan. Kung ang reception, ang musika naman ay parang parang napaka-fluid na bagay Maaring musika sa atin yung mga awitin na may chords, may mutya o kung ano man. May chords at may melodiya. Maaring ang meron din natin, pwede din nating tignan o ituring yung experience natin sa tunog bilang musika. Nung ako'y bata, ay ako'y lumaki sa panahon ng martial law pag ako'y natatakot dahil sa may kapatid ako nung nakakulong at ako'y batang-bata, wala akong high school yata at ako'y natatakot, natetense sa kung ano-anong bagay-bagay. Ako'y may pinupuntahan sa may Mount Makiling. At hihiga lang ako doon ng isang buong umaga para makinig ng mga ibon, sa akin musika 'yon. Yun ang therapy ko nung bata ako, yung mga tunog. Kaya siguro ako'y naging sensitibo sa tunog at ako'y naging musikero, ako'y sensitibo sa tunog. Doon ko na ihahambing ang musika kasi wala ring pagkakaiba yon sa pag ako'y tense din sa bahay at hindi naman din ako makalabas, makikinig ako sa earphones ng Christmas carols kahit na hindi Pasko. Para lang ako ay maibsa nung takot. At yung pakikinig ko ng Christmas carols kahit Hulyo, naalala ko noon kasi yung unang Pasko na martial law, walang Pasko. Kumbaga, pero mga Enero, Pebrero, ganyan, makikinig ako para lang magkaroon ng paraan yung aking kaisipan, yung aking isip na ma-invoke siguro yung mga magagandang karanasan ng nakaraan, kung ano man, gumawa ng sariling mundo para lang makakope dun sa hinaharap kong tensyon. Kasi alam ko na pag tinanggal ko yung earphones na yon or umalis ako dun sa lugar na yon sa Makiling, na nakikinig ako ng ibon, ma-enkwentro ko na naman yung aking pang-araw-araw na dilema na tensyon sa pang-araw-araw na buhay. Ito, baliktad. Yung InAYTA, parang nasabi ko, merong ganyang sitwasyon nangyayari sa ating kapaligiran. Hindi natin nakikita. Kaya ang ina-address ko sa InAYTA, yung kung tawagin ng ordinaryong tao, no? Yung mga hindi aware, no? Hindi merong ganyan. Sana ay ito ay makapukaw man lang ng damdamin nyo. Ano ba ito man lang? Bakit ganito to? Ano ba to? Hindi na kailangan pag-usapan kung musika to o hindi. Pero meron tunog na tuloy-tuloy. Musika siya kasi structure ko. Kinompose ko, sinulat ko, pinerform, etc. ni-record. Pero hindi na yun ang tanong Ang tanong is, ano ito? Ano ito? Para bang nakaupo ka sa isang cafe, pagkatapos may narinig ka biglang nagbanggaan, bang! So ang unang isip mo, ano yung tunog na yan? Ano ito? Ano ito? Ganon ang gusto kong reaksyon sa InAYTA. Ano ito?
Ang ganda nung pagkasabi niyo, Sir Jonas, noong dalawa, no, yung nakita, yung naging example na kaparaanan at objektibo ng pakikinig ng quote-unquote musika. Yung isa ay para maibsan, yung isa ay para mapukaw. So, ang ganda niya sa panahon ng lockdown kasi yung mga komunidad ay merong isang level ng isolation, no? Pagka, ano bang isolation sa Tagalog? Isolation, mamaya ako naisipin. Isolation. At napakahalaga na yung tinig at yung mga tunog ang nagiging daan talaga upang patuloy nating malaman kung ano yung kapaligiran nila, kung ano yung kanilang karanasan, at kung ano rin yung kanilang mga naratibo gaya ng ipinakita dito sa InAYTA. Kumbaga, kahit hindi nagsasalita kahit hindi nagkikita-kita, kahit walang apparent o mas hayag, ay nakikita sa pamamagitan ng mga tinig at tunog. Tunog at tinig.
Tunog at tinig.
Itong kanilang mapa, kanilang kapaligiran, na sa ngayon ay hindi natin nakikita. Pero sa totoo, naniniwala po talaga din ako sa kapangyarihan ng estetika. Ng estetika sa pagpapahayag ng mga malalalim na konsepto.
At yan palagay ko, Roselle, ang dapat pangunahing responsibilidad ng mga nasa larangan ng sining sa pagpapahayag ng buhay ng tao, sa pagpukaw ng damdamin, yung bang direktang komunikasyon sa mga tao sa pamamaraan ng eksperyensya. Ako'y nasa Tulisanes, ako'y tumutulong sa paggawa ng mga protest songs. Pagkatapos nung na-encuentro ko si Maceda, sabi ko, ayun ang gagawin ko. Nagkaroon naman dahil sa aking eksperyensya, nagkaroon naman din ng bahid ng kaisipang pampolitika dahil sa aking eksperyensya. At siyang ginagawa ko hanggang ngayon. Kung ano man ang gawin kong musika ay napapaling sa ganon, sa pagpukaw ng damdamin. Dahil nariniwala ako na kung hindi natin gagawin yon, nag-entertain lang tayo ng mga tao. Nire-reinforce lang natin yung kabuhayan na nakikita natin napakaraming hindi yata naaayon sa dapat ginagawa ng tao.
Parang yun na yata
Ganon.
yung huling tanong ko, Sir Jonas, no, na sinabi natin na kung ang mananaliksik ay merong ang mananaliksik sa mga katutubong komunidad ay merong responsibilidad na magsauli ng kanilang sinasaliksik. Ituloy na natin yung ano naman ang responsibilidad ng isang artist. Medyo napasakalyehan na.
Oo nga, dalawang direksyon yun ang sa aking pananaw bilang, yun nga, kung anumang klaseng animal ako, isang kompositor at isang ethnomusikologo. Yung pananaliksik ay iniisip ko pabalik, papunta pabalik sa mga may-ari ng ating sinaliksik, no? At yung pagiging artista ko paabante naman kung dun sa lipunan na dapat ma-realize, dapat maunawaan kung ano ang kinakapalooban na pamumuhay ng mga katutubo, ng mga tao. Particular sa mga katutubo kasi sila yung pinaka-marginalized na tao sa ating bansa. Sila yung pinaka-marginalized. In-implicate sila sa bansa bilang pre-Hispanic na, can you imagine pre-Hispanic na mga tao, yun ang isip sa kanila pag sinabing katutubo, pre-Hispanic yan. Ganon. So, inaalis na din doon yung isip na may pang-araw-araw na buhay ito sa panahon ngayon. Yung bang institutionalization ng ganung kaisipan. Yun ang problema.
Tama.
Yun ang problema. Pagkatapos yung yung nakikita ko pang dapat sana ay unawain ay yung paraan ng pag-disseminate ba ng cultural work. Kasi lagi na lang nangyayari kung ganong kapidal yung ating lipunan, ganong kapidal din yung sistema. May mga leader, may mga siyempre sila yung culture broker, sila yung nawawala ng boses yung tao. Yun ang problema. So, yun. Bilang artista, ako'y mananawagan, ako'y gagawa ng musika para lang mapukaw yung damdamin ng mga tao sa katotohanan na kinakaharap ng especially mga katutubong tao. Ayun.
Siguro yun na po ang huling tanong. Maraming salamat, Sir Jonas Baes, sa pagpapaunlak sa panayam na ito at sa pagbabahagi ng inyong komposisyon na InAYTA.
Sige. Maraming salamat din sa pagkakataon na to. Mag-ingat ka dyan, ha?
Salamat, sir. Kayo din po. At mukhang marami pa tayong mapapagkwentuhan. At sa puntong ito ay pinasasalamatan natin muli si Professor Jonas Baes ng College of Music, Kolehiyo ng Musika sa Pamantasan ng Pilipinas, so Universidad ng Pilipinas sa Diliman. Maraming salamat, Sir Jonas. Hanggang sa muli, ako po si Roselle Pineda. Maraming salamat. Magandang araw.